Ooh, welcome back to the channel, people. KG is back for the second time today. Welcome back. Listen, we kind of spoke about this player already today, but we're here to talk about Glen Kamara. The deal seems to be done. It seems to be a done deal. Glen Kamara will be leaving Leeds United, and we're going to speak about that in this stream today. Before I get into it, you know the drill, people. Please like the video. Algorithm. It's really important that you do that. Free to do so. Subscribe to the channel, and of course, drop your comments below. Listen, and the message, Gavin. Listen, long time watcher of this channel, Gavin. He knows I was not feeling very well earlier, and still he left a comment saying, "Hey KG, get live. Kamara's going." I'm like, damn. Let me just get out of my slumber. Let me come back, and let's just talk about it because he is going. And I think it was pretty obvious. We're going to go into it. I mean, I've kind of done this stream earlier. I kind of already done this earlier, but now we actually know that the deal is done. I guess we can speak about it a bit more. Jay Jet saying 10 million is a lot for a 28-year-old in a championship. Mike is saying yes, KG. Yep, evening to everyone. Yeah, and shout out to everyone that wasn't here earlier and who is here today, like this evening. I get it, time differences and everything. We are Leeds saying I don't know why people are so upset about this. I don't either, and I gave my full reasons in the earlier video, but I guess we'll speak about it again. Yeah. I mean, I put that in a picture, didn't I? Yeah. Evening, KG. Another one bites the dust. Yeah, another one does bite the dust, but it just means that we're going to strengthen in other areas. For me, it does mean that in my opinion. Very good business indeed. Hero, I think you may have got this one wrong, mate. 10 pounds for Kamara is a good bit of business. I don't know for who, but yeah, I know what you mean. 10 million. I got you. But yeah, shout out to you, Si. Already likes. Of course you have, man. Of course you have. Big supporter. Thank you for that. And Richard, yeah, I mean, I spoke about Jaden Bogle on the early stream. Richard, I can speak about it a little bit again, but yeah, we'll speak about it in a minute. But yeah, listen, people, Glen Kamara, and it's pretty much official. There's a couple of sources. I'll bring up both. But Fabrizio here confirming exclusive Rennes agreed deal to sign Glen Kamara from Leeds United for a 10 million euro fee. Here we go. Personal terms are also agreed as Kamara leaves after last good season, or it means good last season. And yeah, I mean, 10 million euros equates at this point to about 8.5, 8.6 million, which for me is brilliant value for Glen Kamara. I'll be real with you. I've said this pretty much, and this isn't me saying just let him go because he's going. You guys know me better than that. I said this from the keep sell bench video. If there was one midfielder that we should sacrifice in order to get more advanced midfielders, it's Glen Kamara for me. And to get more than the 5 million back, I think is great business. We're talking 10 million euros, so we'll talk 8.5, 8.6 pounds, 8 million pounds. I think it's great business, people. I think that after the 1 year he had, and yes, it was good. It was good, bordering on okay. To get more than that, I think is brilliant. I do think so. Mikey saying, do we not feel like in midfield now though we needed to replace Gray and now Kamara? No, Mikey, we didn't, because Gray was used as a right back. He was not used as a midfielder. He was very rarely used in midfield. And Kamara has been replaced by Joe Ruffwell. So Mikey and everyone else that keeps on thinking it's just because we've lost Kamara, thinking we need to replace with another one. We don't. We need another midfielder, but more of an attacking midfielder, and we'll speak about that in just a moment. But no, because we've got Aronson, we've got Ampadu, we've got Gruev, we've got Charlie Crew here, we got Joe Ruffwell. That's 5 midfielders central that play centrally, whether it's defensively or in a more advanced 8. That's 5, and we're only going to probably use 2, 3 at best per game. So we don't need another Glen Kamara, and that's why I put on the earlier stream odd man out, because he is the odd man out, and it just makes sense. If you can make a profit on a player like Glen Kamara, who's going to turn 29 this year, then yeah, do so. Let's have a look. Simp here saying simp, tremendous. I think that's short for Simpson, isn't it? Yeah, not simp itself, but yeah, great business for a mediocre player. The club needed to get their fingers out and start signing class players in key areas needed. And yeah, and the key area is, for me, simp and everyone else, is not central midfield at this point. Now, obviously, if you can get a real good central midfielder that is just blows all our other ones out the water, then of course you do so and then deal with that from there. Maybe you can then let another one go. But the key areas for me now are fullbacks. That is vitally important, which, you know, the Jaden Bogle thing comes into it. We need a left back. And I still think that we need another attacking midfielder. It's another central midfielder for me is the last thing on the list. Charlie Crew is going to probably be used more by Daniel Farker as well. He seems to trust him implicitly. He all brought him on the bench at times last season. I can see him having a new role with his new 4-year contract. We have enough in that central midfield. In fact, I don't think that we need to look there for now. We need to look in other areas. Quaz here saying normally we lose out on players of his age, but we actually made profit. Yeah, God, under the old ownership, man, he would have probably gone on a free or something. You know what I mean? But this is the 49ers we're talking about. And listen, from Glen Kamara's point of view, people, Glen Kamara agreed terms with Rennes a couple of weeks ago, if you remember. So he's been waiting for this deal. He's been waiting for the two clubs to agree a deal, agree a fee so he can go. So I'm not saying that he's requested to go by any means, but he obviously sees the opportunity at Rennes and think, you know what, they've just lost Enzo Lefebvre, they've lost another midfielder too. They look like they might be losing Desiree Doué, who is a fantastic player, by the way. They could be losing a dearth of midfielders, which means he's probably going to get more game time in League 1 than he is going to be at the Championship. So for me, it works. For Kamara's point of view, it looks like a brilliant move. League 1, I think, would suit him down to the ground as well because he is a more technical player. We've seen that. He's great at keeping the ball, but we've got enough of that. We've got Gruev that can do that, and more to the point, we've got Ampadu that does that. So I think it's a good move. Let's have a look. Yeah, Ipswich look like they're going to sign Schmadix. Yeah, as it is 6 million as well, which is a fantastic price considering he was quoted at 15 in the summer. We are Leeds saying, do you think we'll get another centre back? Yeah, we're talking areas. We've got our first choice, of course, Strauch and Roden, which is undisputed. Verba is still looking to move. So yeah, we need another 2 centre backs. Liam Cooper is set to go to Blackburn. Obviously, Charlie Cresswell's gone. There are more areas of the squad, people, that we need to flesh out than thinking, oh, we've lost Glen Kamara in midfield. Let's go and buy another central midfielder. It's just so basic to think of. I'm sorry to say it, but you're not looking at the other bits, areas of the squad where we need a bit of help. We even need, at this point, even though this is all still here, we need another winger on loan. You know, we need someone to help out Somerville on the left if he's to remain here. We need another winger that can be a squad member too. So there are other areas, in my opinion, that we need to look out for. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fullbacks and centre backs before for a central midfielder. Yeah, of course. Ian saying I'm okay with the sale provided we strengthen the squad. Again, I think it just goes without saying. I'm sorry to say, maybe it's because I'm feeling a bit of a cold, or as you guys know, but that's just common sense. We're not just going to let players go without strengthening in the other areas that we need to do. They would have learned that lesson from last season. There's no chance that we're going to do that again. And if that happens, people feel free at the end of the transfer window to come back and say, "Hey, I thought we was going to get in this and that." Feel free to do it. But I think that they've got their ducks in a row. They know what we need. They know the positions that we need to strengthen, and they're going to do it. So yeah, when we're losing players, I think other players will come in. And like I said earlier, the only time you need to worry about getting in another star winger is if we lose one. So if we lose Somerville for 40 million, expect a 15 million winger or around that to come in to replace him. Because obviously we're in the Championship, people. It should go without saying yet again. But we're not going to spend 40 million on a winger in the Championship. It's just not going to happen. It doesn't work like that. Gavin, shout out to you, man. Gavin, glad I woke you up, KG. Yeah, I saw your message come through. I don't get notifications for every comment, by the way. I think people think you get all of them. No, you get ones from super thanks, because obviously it benefits YouTube as well. Obviously, you get them from your members, but then there's certain other messages that come through as well. And Gavin's popped up as like, my eyes are like this. Gavin, what are you saying, man? Who's going? Who's going? I thought it was someone else for a start. I was like, ooh, but then I saw it was Glen Kamara. And okay, makes sense. Yeah, not like us to buy low and sell high. Yeah, yeah. And look, I mean, does anyone have anything to get? I mean, if you're watching the replay, let me know in the comments. But I don't see how anyone can see anything wrong with this deal. And I don't see it. I've just mentioned every other midfielder we've got in central midfield. We're making money on Glen Kamara. I don't see what the problem is with this one. I don't, and I wish Glenn all the best. I think he's obviously looks like a solid guy, looks like a great guy, but I think we can do better on the pitch. And I've been consistent with this since the keep sell bench video. I've said it all along. If there was one midfielder that we could sacrifice, it's Kamara. Um, Matt saying everything we've seen so far about this window has been sensible, nice to see. But to counter, there's Chris Kingy who thinks that unless we sign messy people, that we're not going anywhere. There's a difference between strengthening the squad for a Premier League push and strengthening the team for the championship. We're doing the latter, and it's very worrying. I couldn't disagree more, Chris. But that's fine. You know, we can disagree on stuff, but we're in the second year in our championship, you know, cycle, and under the 49ers. I don't know what you're expecting, Chris. I honestly don't. I honestly don't know what you're expecting. We've signed Rodon on a permanent deal. We've made money on Klaassen, got in a cheaper third choice option in Cairns, which is, you know, it is what it is, homegrown and all that stuff. We're looking to sign Jaden Bogle, who at this level is a fantastic fullback, absolutely fantastic. And again, I'll give you you know, in terms of Jaden Bogle, just to go back on him, you know, in what I said earlier, yes, it went badly wrong for him, especially in the latter half of the Premier League season. But you know, Sheffield United were getting pounded week after week, man. They were the Premier League, you know, bottom boys. You know, they were like, "Ooh, hello everyone. How do you want us today? Ooh, bent over, okay." You know what else was he going to do? And a lot of those players just checked out towards the end of the season. You know what I mean? So we know that he's an attacking fullback that can get forward, get goals, get assists as well. And someone mentioned something earlier as well. You know, he was a real promising prospect at Derby. Maybe he's lost a little bit of that, but I think a new change of scenery is going to do him well. He's only 23, and with better players around him, I think he's going to do well. Again, though, when we go up to the Premier League, I do want a better right back, and I do have some names in mind when we go up. But at this level, Jaden Bogle, he's a solid signing, people, honestly. So hopefully we can get a deal done. I don't know how much it's going to be. We'll wait and see, and we'll come back and report on that. Yeah, listen, Joe saying I appreciate the videos. I appreciate you guys for tuning in, especially today, because as you can tell, I do have a little bit of cold. People calling me Joe Biden towards the end of the last video because I was starting to get a little mixed up, a little confused, and that's all good, man. I love you all anyway. I love you all. Carl Brown with the super chat. Thank you so much, Carl. Hope you feel better, Suke. Yeah, listen, it's just a man flu, you know. We'll get over it. We'll get the lemsip, we'll get some lemon water, and we'll be back tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Bright as rain, bright as rain. Let me see what's everyone saying. Let me get some more comments in. Neil Cooper, couldn't we do a deal with Rennes for 10 million for Kamara? Let's throw Bamford in too as a sweetener. Tremendous. And Ian saying that's why we made pure profit on Archie. Yeah, I mean that's satisfying, and that's another thing as well. It's something that I'm not really going to keep mentioning now because we've already satisfied the PSR rules. We are PSR cool. We're good with that. So unless we go and sign 3 players worth 20 million each, then we'll speak about like, oh, we need to make sure we get up, otherwise we may fall foul. We are fine with PSR, people, so no need to worry about anything like that. Let's have a look here. Yeah, we do. Yeah, man. No, I don't drink jazz beer. Come on, man. You've been here long enough. You know I'm straight edge, man. Come on. Gavin here saying, yeah, we have a decent war chest now for a great signing. But who, Gavin? I mean, who you saying blow it all on? Pause. And who you saying blow it all on? What do we need? Because we got star wingers at this point. Again, I'm talking currently. We've got star wingers. We got star. I mean, for me, he's a winger, but we'll say 10 in Jorginho. We got good strikers, more than good strikers in Joel Perot and Mateo Joseph. We've got Strauch and Roden at the back. We've got a class defensive midfielder in Ampadu. Are we talking about a good fullback? Of course, Gavin. I should have known. Mate. Of course. Yamal. Of course. Why did I expect anything better from you, Gavin? Why did I? But shout out to Yamal, man. Just turned 17 today, man. I think he made his birthday wish. I think we all know what he's hoping for tomorrow. Yeah. AT24 saying losing Glenn is not that deep good profit. Yeah, I just don't know it. I've seen people write about Glen Kamara, and listen, and I swear I'm not being rude. You would think we were losing Xavi. You would think we were losing Iniesta in his prime, the way that people are waxing lyrical about Glen Kamara. And I've given him all his praise for all his strengths, but we've got them all in other players, and we'll have a bit more as well in Joe Ruffwell. Joe Ruffwell will probably, Kamara got 3 assists last season, which is brilliant, and which is nice. I should say, not brilliant. Let me take that back. Ruffwell's going to get that and more, and goals. But I think it's because Ruffwell is a unwanted player at Bournemouth. He's a loan without any strings attached. That people look at it like it's chopped liver. It's not. It's a good signing for this level, people. We need to get up before we talk about real Premier League players. I've said, though, listen, I'm with you guys. If we could get players that will help us now and the Premier League, then you're hitting two birds with one stone. But at this point, people, we've seen it. We need a squad. We need a squad. So if you need to spread out money around the squad to make the squad more complete, then that's what we need to do. Richard saying, does Farke have the final say on incomings and outgoings? He will have a big say, Richard. 49ers have really backed him. He's their man. So this is what I'm saying. Farke is going to have no excuses this season for failure like he did last year. But I think it goes to show that they back him anyway with the sale of Cresswell, because you're not losing Cresswell for less than 4 million and without backing Farke. That's clearly the club saying to Farke, you're our guy. Okay, you don't fancy Cresswell, we'll let him go for this fee. You know what I mean? So yeah, he will have a say on it. It's a collaborative effort, of course, but Farke will have a say on who comes in. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay. Enzio here saying, I really like Kamara and appreciate what he does, but 10 million can be channeled elsewhere, and I can see that. Yeah, and that's fair. That's good. That's what I'm saying, Enzio. People, that's the thing in 2024, isn't it, man? If you don't say you love something, or if you don't praise something to the high heavens, people think you hate it or you just don't like it. And that's not true. I think Kamara is a good player for what he does, but we've got what he does and we've got more in other areas, and we can get better. So I would like us now to, if you want to get another midfielder, make it an attacking midfielder. Make it a 10 that scores goals. Oh yeah, that is it as well in terms of that. So yeah, we probably won't get the full 8.6 million pounds or 10 million euros, because Rangers do have a sell-on clause. So Gavin is correct here. Gavin actually helping out there. But yeah, Rangers do have a little sell-on clause with that. Oh man, let me see here. Okay, one player that looks like he won't be coming. I know he's a favorite for a lot of people. Is Callum O'Hare, and he was rumored to be coming or going to the Premier League. But as I've said to you before, people, if Premier League teams don't move in for players, they will go elsewhere. And it looks like Sheffield United, from a few accounts, not just Alan Nixon, it looks like Callum O'Hare is favorite to go there. So Sheffield United it's a real weird one. We know that they're in the midst of a takeover, and if they lose Bogle to us, that's a loss. But they're signing Kiefer Moore. They've bought in Shackleton. They were going for Liam Cooper, who's obviously going to Blackburn, but they're trying to sign Callum O'Hare. Now, that's a good addition for them, but does that mean Harmer's going to leave? Because Harmer was out today with what was it? Quad issues or something like that. Thigh issues, which you know what that means usually. But yeah, it looks like I can see what they're trying to do here. Free transfer, Sheffield United. I can see what they're trying to build. They're just trying to build as cheap as possible team to go up, and I understand that until their takeover's done. But yeah, it looks like Callum O'Hare is going there. Once again, no, with the O'Hare thing, I said this isn't new information from me. But when I found out Brendan Aronson was staying, I did ask the question to you guys: is there any need for Callum O'Hare now? Because we've already got, say now, especially today, Joe Ruffwell, who is a creator, can score a few goals. Aronson, who's going to be that busybody in the midfield, going to give you energy, may pop up with a goal or two, will get assists. So do we have a need for Callum O'Hare? Me now, I've already said it. We've got enough creators. I would like a goal scoring 10 if we're going to go for one, like a Schmadix, who's obviously not available now. Why would you go to that dumpster fire? Yeah, Carla saying here, it looks like Roma want Harmer. Yeah, Galatasaray want him too, and I believe Wolves are in for him too. So you just think maybe Sheffield United are covering their tracks in terms of in case Harmer leaves. Because let's face it, listen, people, Harmer in this division would be almost like a cheat code, because he was excellent for Sheffield United last season. I know collectively Sheffield United sucked, but he stood out. He was quality. His set pieces are brilliant. His overall play in open play was really good. And at this level, he would do damage. So if Sheffield United lose him, it's going to be a big blow. But you can see what they're trying to do. Shackleton free, Kiefer Moore 2 million, O'Hare free. I see what they're trying to do there, and it's making their team better. Let's face it. But if they lose Bogle to us, that is a big loss because they've also lost that brute at right back. What's his name? What was his name again? Always fighting, man. Always looking like he's fighting. Bulldog. So they've lost. They would effectively lose both of their right backs. Brian B here saying, not bothered by O'Hare or yeah. No, at one point on the squad makeup, I did think maybe he could do something for us. But when you look at his, and it's not just looking at his numbers, I don't think we'd get any more out of him than let's say we're going to get from Joe Rothwell. I think his hype went up because of the FA Cup run, which is understandable. But I think there's better out there too in terms of for us. Radiby Leeds saying with the super chat, thank you, Radiby Leeds. Found Kamara frustrating in many games, to be honest. 10 million is not a bad fee. We still need a creative number 10. Yeah. And I think the frustration that Radiby Leeds is talking about, just need to take a sip. I think the frustration he's talking about is not just his reluctance to shoot. I think that that's beating a dead horse, but it's also holding on to the ball too long, 5-6 touches, where maybe 2 or 3 would do. He's sometimes very slow to release the ball. Brilliant at keeping the ball. Like the opposition couldn't get it off him usually, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's just so many things that he's good at, but a few things we can improve on as a team. Quaz here saying, in terms of left backs, would Harrison Burrows be attainable in your opinion? I would say so. I don't think he's going to be expensive. I don't know how long he's got left on his contract, and maybe that was a factor in why Ronnie Edwards went so cheap. But Ronnie Edwards went for 3 million from Peterborough to Southampton, which is an absolute, it's criminal. That's a snip. We're talking about transfer fees. Some of these players are going for snips, the ones that I thought would be going for 10, 15 million. Maybe it's the market. Maybe it's because clubs can't spend like they used to because of PSR and everything else like that. Maybe that's affecting the market, which is a good thing. But Harrison Burrows, yeah, maybe he would be attainable. But you know what? We don't know who they're looking at left back, but that could be an option. But he is another one, much like Firpo, he's a winger turn left back. So he did well at League One level. Will it translate to Championship? We shall see if he does get a move. Yeah, it is a steal. It's ridiculous, man. Ronnie Edwards for 3 mil it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Let me just see. Is there anything else? Let me just go back up. No, Ian. In terms of this, Rangers had a promotion clause. Not sure about sell-on clause. No, they had both. Ian, they 100% had both. Reported by many of the Scottish papers. Yeah, they were due 500,000 if we went up with Kamara, but they also have a sell-on clause, so they covered their bases with Glen Kamara. Okay, Malachi here saying, I like the Kamara business, got experience in Rothwell and potential by extending crew. Aronson is a wild card, but not holding my breath. Need more goals from midfield. Aronson is the one. You know what, Malachi? That's a perfect word to describe Aronson, because I think he's going to do okay at this level. But at the same time, I can't say that with a 100% certainty. But just the way that he plays the game, I think he's going to frustrate a lot of Championship centre backs. I think he's going to get fouled a fair bit without him having to run into players and act dead like he did in the Premier League, like a dodo. I think he is going to be a wild card, but I think at this level, because we're going to have so much of the ball, it's going to suit his game a little bit more. I think we're going to get a little bit more out of Brendan this season, but I wouldn't bet my house on it. Let me just say that. I wouldn't say that, but yeah, shout out to you, Malachi. But yeah, so people, I don't think there's any more news. Let me just check before we exit the stream. But yeah, good. Just when this stream's done, or if you're watching a replay, just drop your thoughts in the comments below about anything discussed. Yeah, that is it. That is it. So let me just let's go with a few more comments. You can't hear me, Si. Can you guys hear me? I'm sure you can hear me, right? Joe Savage here. Do you think Rutter will keep improving under Farker, and is his finishing likely to improve? Yeah, Joe, I do think so. I think that this is what I mean. Where people were talking about Archie Gray last season, he scored no goals and Rutter only got 7, and missed loads. People act like that's going to be them for the rest of the season, but yet people will think that Kamara's going to improve at 28. Um, it's crazy how people like think with these kind of things. But Jorginho, for me, I think he will improve on his finishing this season. I can see him getting into double figures. At the same time, would it surprise me if he only got 7 but then had another 20 assists? No, it wouldn't. But I do think he's going to improve over the year. He's very young, he's still developing, he's still raw. And I think his composure will improve as the seasons go on, as he gets more football. Hopefully it's with us. I'll say that. Like I said with Archie, hopefully it's with us. But Jorginho is just in this division anyway, that his creativity, the way he gets back, starts, moves from deep, he's invaluable. There's not many players like him. You probably say Harmer is in the same probably category, except for Harmer's good at set pieces as well. So maybe he's got the bit of advantage. But yeah, Jorginho, for me, there is room for improvement. Fab is saying here, is Gruev going to stay? Well, this is where it would get tricky, because if Gruev does go, then you have to go in for another defensive midfielder. You have to. You can't. This. I hope people understand what I'm saying here now. This is a great question. If Gruev was to leave, then yes, we would need another 6. We would have to get another one. Cannot go in with just Ampadu and then that's it and hope that Crew can fill in, because I know Crew can fill in a couple of areas. We would need another one. But at this point in time, if Gruev stays, Ampadu and Kamara, that's good enough. That's more than good enough for me, people. Chris here, Chris actually with a positive comment. Go on, Chris. I can see Aronson getting 10 to 15 goals and assists combined. Oh, that, you know what, Chris? That. It depends where he's deployed. Let's be fair. It depends where he's deployed. But if he's deployed in a more advanced role and 10 to 15 goals and assists together, I think that would be pretty poor return. I'll be real with you. I think that would be pretty poor. What 7 goals, 8 assists over a 46 game season if he plays, say, 40 games. Yeah, I think I want a little bit more than that from Brendan. And this is another thing in terms of Brendan Aronson, people. Something else that people don't consider. Yes, he's come back and he's probably on a bit of a reduced wage from the Premier League. He's probably, down to 60%, but it's still going to be a pretty high wage for this level. So maybe that also restricts as well what you can do in central midfield. Shout out, Sai saying, listening on my phone now. Shout out to you, man. Carlos here saying, Jorginho, if it wasn't for his surgery, I think would have finished with 10 plus goals. I don't think so, Carlos. I think he would have been a lot more creative. I do. But we saw him with his finishing, man, Carlos. I'm not going to rewrite it for Jorginho. Some of the finishes were horrendous, and they were from good positions as well. It was like the easier the chance, the more likely he'd miss. And even that one against Norwich that time, he was pretty much underneath the goal, and he almost put it over, didn't he? So Jorginho, he just has to have a bit more composure. We know that, but that's where I think he would be better deployed from the right. That's where he did his best work in his previous clubs, Hoffenheim, etc. I think if he's cutting in and doing that, he's much more effective than playing in the 10. But at the 10 role, he's more creative as a provider. So it depends what you're looking for him. But yeah, listen, people, I think that is it. I think that is it for the show, because I did speak in depth about Kamara earlier. At least now it's confirmed that he's going, and it makes sense to me. But does it make sense to you? That's the question. So anything discussed today, whether it's Jadon Bogle, whether it's Glen Kamara, Callum O'Hare, let me know in the comments below any of your thoughts. Subscribe to the channel, people. Like the video, please. Really important. And I'll see you in the next one, people. Gavin says 10 p.m. I don't think so, unless we're announcing something big. But yeah, listen, people, peace out. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.